trap, march a hornets dance, snapback caps at rallies, ready, spirits never lack, thoughts and pride with style in the swag sack, in the quad, we ain't never gonna stop, in the quad, we always on top, in the quad, feel the music drop, in the quad, roots run deep.
What's going on, HBCU family? It is Monday, January 13th, and y'all have been tearing me apart on Instagram. Y'all saw it last night. I put up there that I shaved the beard off. Look, we ain't even got to put. All right, y'all. Let me tell you something. My DMs over the last 12 hours have been insane. What the hell did you do? I can't believe you cut your beard off. I was not born with a beard. I wasn't born with a beard, y'all. Like it I haven't always had it. You know, more often than not, I had my hair like this. But let me explain why. Because I was told, I was actually demanded an explanation as to why the beard is gone now. And by the way, I'm putting some of those ones y'all wrote in for fam topics because that was hilarious. So it was 5 years ago this time where I shaved my beard the first time. I started growing my beard in 2007, and I always kept it really, really low. Here's a problem. I can never get that like full Rick Ross joint going, right? It's mainly because I didn't know what I was doing, and because more often than not, the beer products that were in the marketplace are not really catered towards Black men, right? So, and our skin is different, our hair texture is different. It's just it's a different thing. Women, y'all know this. Y'all deal with this all the time. So I started growing my beard in 2007. I kept it low. I would alternate between a beard and a goatee. And in late 2019 is when I first was separated from my soon-to-be ex-wife. And I said, you know what? We're going to start all over. We're going to try some new things. We're going to see what this is like from start to finish. So in January of 2020, I shaved everything off. I mean, completely barefaced. And I said, okay, we're going to start. We got new products. I had done a little bit more research. And I was able to get a really, really full beard that I've been growing, but then also trimming down over the last 5 years. And so I've been thinking about this over the last 3 months, really, about just going ahead and shaving off and starting the beard journey again. But I wasn't about to go completely barefaced like I did before, because I'm on here 5 days a week, and HBCU Twitter and the HBCU landscape is completely relentless. So there was no way I was going to be barefaced on here 5 days a week. So I am restarting the beard journey with a little bit of a cheat code, and I'm going to document it on the way. People have asked me about doing content behind beard stuff. I don't think that it's worth doing like a full show, a full set of videos, stuff like that, but just some little tips and tricks a couple times a week on it, because you do have a lot of Black men out there who are trying to grow that beard, and some of y'all beards need a Wi-Fi code because they won't connect. So I'm gonna put that out up here. So that's why. And just like I messaged everybody back yesterday, the beard is coming back. I'm gonna grow it back, but good God, y'all, I might blank out some of these the names and post some of these comments because it was insane between Instagram and Facebook, completely insane. Anyway, y'all, what's going on, HBCU family? It is Monday, January 13th. Happy Founders Day to the ladies of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Big shout out to my favorite Deltas, my sisters and my god sister. My favorite chapter, the Beta Eta None Greater chapter at Alabama State University. Ladies, enjoy your day. Enjoy your day. And I've also been threatened that there's another sorority out there that if I don't talk about their Founders Day, I'm gonna get got. If you are tuning into the show for the first time, you never saw the beard. So you are just now seeing me for the very first time, and that's great. I welcome everybody who's here. If you are returning or if you're brand new, at In the Quad with Nick Eden, we cover all of the trending topics across the entire HBCU landscape. That's TikTok, Fizz, Snapchat. You know, TikTok might not be around too much longer. And it would wait until I start having some stuff go viral again before when they're like, hey, it ain't going to be around that much longer. But TikTok, Fizz, Fanbase, Twitter/X, Facebook, IG, Threads. Y'all, I'm finally on Threads. I had an account on Threads. It was from my insurance company, but I finally went up and this morning I joined Threads. So I'll be adding that in the link tree. Follow me on Threads. It's the same deal at Nick Eden. Y'all already know. And we take all of those trending topics across the entire HBCU landscape and we condense them into two parts of the show. The first part of the show is our main topics. We have 4 main topics that we cover that are trending across the HBCU landscape. And the second part of the show, which is my absolute favorite, are the fam topics. This is a portion of the show where you, the viewer, gets to express your opinion, gets to ask any questions, and as long as they're appropriate, we'll put them on the show. If not, y'all already know at this point, I'm not putting them up there. If you'd like to get your fam topics, and by the way, you can submit them anonymously. If you'd like to get your fam topics on the show, it's really simple. Just head over to my socials here, at Nick Eden on Twitter, at Nick Eden on IG. Click the link tree in the bio and submit your question. All right, y'all. So now and now that I've been thoroughly just like I'm telling y'all now, I'm going to take some screenshots. I'm going to blank out the names and pictures of anybody, but I'm gonna put some of these reactions to this on Twitter. So y'all see that later. All right, y'all, let's get into our first main topic. And our first main topic comes to us from our friends over at HBCU Buzz. HBCU launches Employment Academy to boost workforce development. Lincoln University of Missouri is making significant strides towards enhancing its educational offerings by introducing the Lincoln University Employment Academy. The initiative is a component of the university's 25 and 25 Points of Pride campaign, which aims to build momentum from last year and drive future growth and success. Set to launch in spring 2025, LUEA responds to Missouri's escalating demand for skilled workers in both public and private sectors with a strong focus on supporting minority and underrepresented populations. The academy aims to prepare qualified individuals to fill critical vacancies throughout the state. By prioritizing accessible education and skills training, LUEA will ensure that individuals, particularly those in underrepresented populations, have the tools to succeed in our state's most high-demand jobs, said Dr. Darius Wilson, Assistant Provost for Academic Innovation, Outreach, and Research at Lincoln University. Y'all, real quick, let me say this. I've been advocating for this for years. Oh, Lord. Oh, thank you. You know what? I appreciate that. I appreciate that. My mom was so happy. She thought I was lying. My mom has been trying to get me to cut my beard for years now. She's like, no, she's like, I need you back to being smooth. So yeah, I appreciate that. But look, y'all, I've been advocating for this type of program for years, and mainly because I've seen it work in places where, particularly, I've seen it work to address the employment gaps in Alabama and Mississippi. And here's the reason why it's worked so well. Why it's worked so well in those states, especially Alabama. Alabama has the largest number of HBCU community colleges in the country. And what that does is that puts them in position to get a lot of HBCU graduates. I know a lot, for whatever reason, some people think that an associate's is not an acceptable degree. Whatever the case, however you feel, I really don't care. But the programs that they have in place at places like Trenton Tech in Montgomery, Gaston State, Bishop State Community College, all these different HBCU community colleges in the state of Alabama, they're addressing the workforce in the state of Alabama, and they're able to put these HBCU graduates in these positions. Thus, they're doing essentially what a lot of the for-profit schools like Fortis College and UEI and all these different schools do, which is we meet the demand of the workforce. They have a better workforce placement, than honestly a lot of our traditional HBCUs. So I think it's great. Like in particular at Trenton Tech, they had the line worker program. Now people can talk what they want. Yes, it's a dangerous job. Any job is dangerous. Those guys coming out that program walk into starting salaries of 84 grand and up. So when you have something that is a demand, and when you have a situation where for us in particular, there is such a wealth gap between us and our non-melanated counterparts, then you have to do whatever you can in order to put us in position where we can do it, which is why I love what they said was by prioritizing accessible education and skills training, LUEA will ensure that individuals, particularly in those underrepresented populations, have the tools to succeed in our state's most high demand jobs. Now, does that mean all trade stuff? No, absolutely not. That's not what that means. What that does mean is, okay, in particular, I've been waiting on the state of Mississippi for years to address the fact that only 2% of Black men, only 2% of teachers in this country are Black men. 2%. And yet, in the heart of Jackson, you've got an HBCU that, along with Tennessee State and Alabama State, are the top 3 producers of Black teachers in the nation. And Jackson State, in particular, is the #1 producer of Black male teachers in the nation. So while you have a teacher shortage in the state of Mississippi, why is the state of Mississippi not looking to work with Jackson State to boost those programs, boost the recruitment for those programs? Now, I can go into my theories as to why they're not, but even if that's the case, you're not even doing it at Mississippi State or Ole Miss or USM, right? So I'm shout out to Missouri and this program with Lincoln University that is actually addressing that, hey, we got a bunch of in-demand jobs, and we got no talent to fill them. Let's work with a program that offers a pipeline to people because that's what college is supposed to be about. You're not supposed to walk across the stage and just be like, all right, well, I ain't got nothing else, so, I'm just going to go back to grad school. It is. Yeah, I mean, yeah, listen, and it's been that way. It's been that way for a while, Yard Talk. It's been that way for a long while. They've consistently been the #1 producer of Black male teachers in this nation. And it addresses so many, like every stat that comes out talks about how students fare better, particularly Black students fare better when they have a Black male teacher at some point. Like for me, and I didn't realize this. I thought that it was commonplace. I didn't realize that I was an anomaly. Most of the people I knew that had Black male teachers, oh yeah. Most of the people I knew that had Black male teachers didn't really have them until they got into like high school, or maybe once in junior high, middle school, whatever area you were a part of. I had my first Black male teacher when I was in elementary school. Right? I was before. Hell, my principal in elementary school, the 1st to 3rd grade, was a Black man. And by the time I graduated high school, I had at least 7. No, I had at least 9 Black male teachers who were not coaches. And that's no slight against coaches. I mean, English, music, math. Like you ask anybody who came out of go for a high school system around the time of me, you weren't getting out of math without Mr. James and Mr. McGee. Till this day, Mr. McGee still, for the nonprofit that I volunteer with, this man's been retired for years and still comes in and tutors these kids in a way that and makes them understand math in a way that I'm looking at the light go off on them. So, and it's not to say that can't happen. Obviously, it can happen with Black women. Obviously, it can happen with women and men of other cultures. But the stats show us that, hey, you got a better chance of success, particularly with this community, with this subset of teachers. And for it to only be 2% is absolutely insane to me. So, say all that to say, absolutely. Let me say something. I will put, like, a lot of the later generation knows Mr. McGee as Coach McGee. And I will slip up and call him Coach McGee every now and then. But before he was a coach, he was a math teacher first. He wasn't a coach that just happened to teach. He was a teacher that just happened to coach, right? And there's a big difference there. I would put him up against anybody. So again, shout out to Lincoln University and the state of Missouri for doing what they need to do to boost the workforce development and have a pipeline, particularly coming from our HBCUs. Y'all, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to take a look at, briefly, but nonetheless, we're going to take a look at the legacy that the recently passed former President Jimmy Carter had on HBCUs. Y'all listen to Quad with Nick Eden.
Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday.
I got you something.
We said no gift.
We had to get you something.
Thank you, honey.
I got you this.
Did you do this yourself?
Man, I had a great teacher.
Happy birthday.
I love you.
I love you too.
Love you. Thank you.
This is from me to you.
I am genius.
Now Taxes is getting the TurboTax app and filing your taxes yourself 100% free if you didn't file with us last year. Now this is taxes. File free in the app by 2/18. When you switch to TurboTax, do it
So I
yourself.
trust everyone's read the prospectus. Lance? Why don't you take us through it?
Let's get into the prospectus.
Okay.
I am genius.
19 minutes after the hour, y'all, you are tuned into a brand new episode, a beardless episode of In the Quad with Nick Eden. Yo, let's head over to our good friends at Inside Higher Ed. I'm gonna tell you right now, this is a long article. So if you want to read the full article, simply, and I mean simply, Google Jimmy Carter HBCUs and it's Inside Higher Ed. So we ain't gonna read this whole thing, but we are gonna bring some highlights. Missing, again, it's coming to us from Inside Higher Ed. Missing from the ongoing discussions regarding President Jimmy Carter's legacy following his December 29th passing are the former Democratic president's crucial efforts to save and modernize historically Black colleges and universities. The survival and subsequent expansion of HBCUs represents a meaningful achievement within Carter's complex presidential record, which is forever marred by his resounding defeat after one term by his Republican successor, Ronald Reagan. Ironically, Reagan ran a vigorous campaign against another landmark aspect of Carter's educational legacy, the establishment of the Department of Education in 1979, which played a crucial role in Carter's effort to support HBCUs. Before I get into the highlights, I just want to go ahead and bring that up for the HBCU alums who were so pro-Trump. My bad. So, all right, y'all. To be clear, let's go in first. Let's talk about the history with Jimmy Carter and the NAACP. Segregation is wrong no matter where. They're declared a January 6, 1979 editorial in the Cleveland Plain Dealer by Michael Myers, a director of research and policy for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. The subhead announced the NAACP's opposition to Black colleges. The renowned African-American civil rights organization Legal Defense Fund, led by white attorney Jack Greenberg, promoted this view as part of its most radical and controversial efforts to eliminate all forms of racial grouping in the nation. Not all members of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund classified HBCUs as segregated institutions, though federal lawsuits filed by the organization implicated Black colleges on those grounds. The legal question regarding issues of racial diversity at HBCUs versus predominantly white colleges initially remained unresolved in the litigation known as the Adams cases. This is important. Let me tell you why it's important. I don't want to get off on oh yeah, absolutely. And they successfully talk, because I will say this much, because again, I'm not going to read the entire article. I'm going to read some of the highlights. It is said that the crown jewel of Carter's presidency was the establishment of the Department of Education, which had a direct impact on HBCUs and, just like this article points out, had significant opposition from some organizations and some thought leaders, namely the NAACP, LDF, and I've worked with LDF before, just full transparency, but they were opposed to it. I would also point out that in the many decades since, more often if there was a large Black issue, and a large Black issue, one of the first groups that got significant money was the NAACP. Now, am I saying that the NAACP is all bad or all wrong? Absolutely not. No, they've done some amazing work. They've done some great work. I can also remember just a couple of years ago when Byron Allen was suing Comcast, and the NAACP wrote a memorandum of understanding to the Supreme Court in support of Comcast, which they later regretted. But Comcast also gives them like $250 a quarter. But that's beside the point. Doc, what's going on? Hey, I'm glad to see you added that in there, Doc. You deserve it. You deserve it. Yes, and now again, look at the parallels, because President-elect Trump wants to eliminate the Department of Education. I'm just saying, y'all. Let me get back to this article. Like I said, we're just going to do a few of the highlights. To be clear, the NAACP LDF opined that they did not intentionally push for the desegregation of HBCUs, yet members of the Black college community accused them of such. On April 1st, 1977, federal judge John Pratt issued an order that sought to clarify the issue, that the process of desegregation must not place a greater burden on Black institutions, including HBCUs, and instructed Carter's Department of Health, Education, and Welfare to devise criteria for higher education desegregation plans, which take into account the unique importance of Black colleges and simultaneously comply with the congressional mandate. And the reason that I bring that up, and again, I want y'all to go and actually read the entire article. The reason that I bring that up is because for decades, like, okay, by the time I was born in 1980, so by the time I was conscious of anything, Reagan was a president. Actually, Reagan was on his way out in his second term. Everything that I heard in my education throughout the years was that Jimmy Carter was the worst president in the history of this country. Every time you turn around, if there was a definition of what a bad president was, it was Jimmy Carter. Call me a conspiracy theorist, call me Cat Williams, but it's mighty funny that one of, if not the most important presidents to HBCUs, dang, now that I think about it, they do Biden the same way. And some of us join right in on it. Amazing enough, you got people who will call Carter the worst president, and then people who have said, oh, Biden, worst president than Carter. I want y'all to read between the lines on these types of things. This is why I wanted to bring this article up. Again, it's on Inside Higher Ed. I love that website, by the way. But It's amazing that the two most significant presidents to HBCUs are the ones that they call the worst. So when I say things like I said, a few weeks ago, when I said that there's a concerted effort, when I said that for whatever reason, that there are some, not all, not most, but there are many white folks that have a severe problem with HBCUs. When there are those exceptional Negroes and gatekeepers, some of which are HBCU alums themselves, have a problem with HBCUs, that it's a concerted effort. I'm not just throwing out wolf tickets, and I think it's important because the good things that they like to talk about when it comes to Jimmy Carter were all the things that he did after he left the office. Y'all excuse the train. Were the things that he did after he left the office. But I think it's important to highlight the fact that he was extremely significant in correctly and effectively defining what desegregation was, as opposed to what being intentional about not dismantling our Black institutions would be. And these are the conversations that people don't like to have because there's no nuance to it. They'd rather have conversations like, oh, the price of eggs are too high. Okay, let's see how that works out. Sonic Boom, C90, even as better shall build and baby, I always felt uneasy when I saw Rick. Absolutely. Dude. And what's crazy is like the more as you get older and the more that you read, the more you understand how detrimental he was, and the more you understand the playbook that the incoming president took from him, right down to the Make America Great slogan. Reaganomics and the continuation of it through HW with 4 years of beating around the bush was more detrimental. We can talk about that any other time. Let's see. Yes. Yes, absolutely. I would go even as far. There's a documentary, it's free on YouTube right now, about the history of Alpha Kappa Alpha, who has their Founders Day coming up. And one of the things they talked about was it, and I'm blanking on if there are any AKs in the, it was either Jackie O or it was Eleanor Roosevelt. I want to say it was Eleanor Roosevelt. And she caught a lot of flack. It was Eleanor Roosevelt. She caught a lot of flack for her association. If I'm not mistaken, she was made an honorary AK. If I'm not mistaken, please, again, if there are any AKs in the chat on Twitter, y'all let me know. I could be completely wrong if I'm off. I know it was either Jackie O or it was Eleanor Roosevelt. I'm leaning towards Eleanor Roosevelt, but I do know that she caught some flack about her association with Alpha Kappa Alpha. So yeah, it's not uncommon. So both. So Byron Donald went to FAMU. He did not finish at FAMU. He finished at Florida State. And if it wasn't Florida State, it was another. I think it was Florida State, but I know he started at FAMU, but didn't finish. Very similar to dang, what's the dude? I just went and campaigned against him. In North Carolina, Mark, little freaky dude. He started off at A&T, and then he transferred. His mother was actually an instructor at A&T for years, and then he transferred to UNC Wilmington. So yeah, it's not uncommon by any stretch of the imagination. And yeah, it seems like if there is a president who, because I'll tell you another thing. The sole reason that I walk across that stage with my MEd in November is because of the Biden Fresh Start program. See, a lot of people could not get their loans forgiven because of the lawsuit and the Supreme Court. Their backdoor way was the Fresh Start program. Y'all really should check y'all emails if y'all hadn't gotten one, if you have a similar issue. But the Fresh Start program was designed to get you out of default, defer what they could, put you on an income-driven repayment loan with which is averaging for some people like $50 a month, but defer it out, but then make you eligible for financial aid again. And quite frankly, I wasn't eligible for financial aid. I was just like, look, they take it whenever I file my taxes, they take what they take. It is what it is. But you know, I didn't even want to open. I was like, look, grad school is out of the question for me. I knew that in my mind. I was like, it's completely out of the question for me. And if it weren't for the Fresh Start program, I wouldn't be walking across that stage in November. And it's a lot of people who wouldn't be going back to school if it weren't for that program. And it's a lot of people who would still be in significant debt. So, to Sonic Boom's point, when it comes to presidents and presidential figures who align themselves with Black folks and HBCUs in particular, thank you, Mark Robinson, 100% right. Then all of a sudden they are lambasted as somehow being ineffective. This is part of the reason they talked about the Dem wives so bad. Democratic first ladies had too much history with social issues. Absolutely. And I will say, well, I don't want to speculate on that. I will say that's one of the reasons I believe it to be that maybe a former first lady who had several folks wanted to make her honorary insert this sorority here. Maybe she declined, but that's beside the point. Y'all, we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we're going to be finishing up our main topics. Y'all, real quick, HBCU hoops has been killing it. We had another weekend of conference play. In addition, Coach Mike Vick has unveiled some new details about his staff, some of the things that they're doing at Norfolk State in preparation for the fall. It's in the quad with Nick Eden.
Now Taxes is getting the TurboTax app and filing your taxes yourself 100% free if you didn't file with us last year. Now this is Taxes. File free in the app by 2/18 when you switch to TurboTax Do It Yourself.
From now on, it's all about us. Starting a family, buying a car, our first home.
They told you to open an account, then turned you away. They said, come back when you're ready. You said, we're ready now.
I know we're going to make it.
Hope makes it happen. Thousands of your neighbors, many who never had a bank account before, improved their lives with Hope Credit Union. You can too. Brighter futures begin with Hope.
So I trust everyone's read the prospectus.
Mm-hmm.
Lance? Why don't you take us through it?
Let's get into the prospectus.
Okay.
All right, y'all, 35 minutes after the hour, it's in the quad with Nick Eden. I was trying to get this daggone thing loaded before I got back from the commercial break. You all have to give me a second. We got some a little bit of breaking news. And I will share it as soon as we read this next story. Just know it's about it, Reed. Anyway, y'all. All right, y'all. HBCU D1 basketball. Hey, listen, this is coming from Chris Stevens over at our good friends at HBCU Sports. Shout out to them. HBCU Sports was actually the second. They were the second publication to feature me right after the calendar dropped. So the second week of Division I HBCU football conference play was eventful. The usual suspects marked their territory on the men's side and the women's basketball team won a game by hockey rules. Here are some important takeaways from the week that was on the D1 level. North Carolina Central women win shorthanded. Injuries derailed the Lady Eagles' goals of becoming a MEAC contender, but they refused to let any insults be added to their health woes. Central defeated Maryland Eastern Shore 92-86 in double overtime on Saturday, finishing the game with just 4 players on the court after only dressing 8 to start the game. That is insane, y'all. Yo, that shout out to the Lady Eagles. That is absolutely insane. 4 players, leading scorer Kayla Bryant, 32 points. Morgan Callahan, Jada Creech, and Braden Griffin fouled out during the game, but somehow Central held on for its first MEAC win of the season. Man, look, yo, Coach. Let's head on up to Orangeburg. North Carolina A&T women put icing on their coach's birthday cake. Shout out to Coach T. Rob. Terrell Robinson couldn't have asked for a better birthday gift than the one that North Carolina A&T's women's basketball team gave him. A&T's head coach celebrated the start of the new year for him with a 65-49 win at Delaware to improve to 3-0 in the Coastal Athletic Association. Hey, A&T folks keep telling y'all it ain't just about football over there. Woo! Now, hey, wait, because I knew. I tuned in to HBC United last night because I just knew. Markham Banks, as proud of Morgan State Bear as you were nowhere to be found except for in the chat. Listen, the Bison, Howard's men's basketball team defeated Morgan State 100-95 on Saturday. For folks that swear up and down, Erica, that Morgan State is not y'all's rival, y'all still be having some rivalry game. Like, hey, it is what it is. Jackson State remains unbeaten against conference opponents. I don't know any other way to say it. Jackson State beat the hell out of us this weekend. I ain't gonna hold you at all. JSU beat the living hell out of us. Now it was closer. It was closer. For the men's side, women's side, yeah, we're just not. Bama State is just not very good this year on the women's side. But yeah, Jackson State beat the hell out of us. I ain't gonna even hold you. Anyway, so y'all, I keep telling you because a lot of people check out after football season. The first part, I understand we're all excited about conference play. That's great. But here's the deal. Even out of conference play was exciting. Watching Norfolk State's basketball programs, men and women's, it's such a pleasure to watch. It's such a pleasure to watch. They have a basketball program there that it should be studied. You see key wins on out of conference play. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, we don't really like out of conference play. But you come up with some key wins. And now that we're in conference play, people are seeming to get a little bit more excited. I would say this, look, man, if you're within 50 miles of an HBCU, not even just yours, go check out a basketball game. It's exciting. And it's not just at the Division I level, it's at the Division II level as well. It's at the NAIA level. Y'all know I love the HBCUAC. I absolutely love it. But y'all, real quick, breaking news. I don't have horns and stuff. I don't have horns, but breaking news. Shout out to my girl Tashay Wood, FAMU alum. She posted this on Facebook. Avery got a job, y'all. Avery got a job. Chamblee High School. So, and if you actually go to Bleacher Report, you can actually get the article. NFL legend Ed Reed named OC for Georgia High School football team. Ed Reed spent his NFL career terrorizing opposing offenses. Now, the Hall of Fame safety will be the one drawing up the schemes to embarrass opposing defenses. Chamblee High School in Georgia announced Monday that they hire Reed as its offensive coordinator. Listen, there are some people There's some folks that made some jokes. Yard talk. I ain't fooling with you. I'm not fooling with y'all. Listen, I look at this as a good thing. And let me tell you why. I did not like the idea. Like, I get what Bethune-Cookman was trying to do. And while I love what could happen with celebrity coaches with no hiring. And look, I can't talk bad about anybody bringing on I'm so glad you said that. Oh, I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that. Now, again, I can't talk any bad about anybody bringing in a head coach with no experience. We did it with E-Rob. E-Rob was in the league for 11 years. Then he went off and he was doing real estate. He was doing his thing. He came back, head coach. It worked. Turn the program around. Deion Sanders goes to Jackson State. It worked. I think it's, unless they just completely implode, I think Deshaun and Mike headed to the MEAC. I think it's gonna work. Eddie George worked at Tennessee State. It can work. Ed Reed was such a debacle the way that he came in. It was such a debacle the way that he came in. What I didn't like afterwards is how everybody was like, HBCU needs to give him a chance. HBCU need to give him a chance. And they did not see that. It was real ironic to say that it was the HBCU they need to give him a chance, but they weren't pining for any of these PWIs to give him a chance at head coaching. It was like, oh, y'all should give him a chance. Y'all, not us. We don't want nothing to do with him, but y'all. I think this is a good idea. I think this is a good thing. Ed Reed is going to have to learn, not only he's going to get the coaching experience, sure, but he's going to have to learn better temperament. And being an OC, this is why I pulled up this comment, because you see what happened when Bridgewater, as a head coach, not an OC, but as a head coach, took his high school to a state championship. Now, he wanted to go back into the league. I get that. I get it. He wasn't mad. I mean, I wasn't mad at that. And he wasn't like, he still felt like he had some gas in the tank. Here's the deal. If it doesn't work out in the league, I can think of a few schools that would absolutely take Teddy Bridgewater. So yes, I do think that Ed could be the next Teddy Bridgewater. I do believe that. I believe that. He's gonna have to get some temperament. I'm not fooling with y'all. Y'all talk. I'm not fooling with y'all. I'm not. I promise I'm not. So, I know. Listen, over the last year and a half, I've made a lot of jokes about Ed Reed, but I think this is actually a really good move. I lived in Georgia for 12 years, and let me explain something to you. High school football in Georgia, if you want to talk a spectacle, you don't think they're going to watch those tickets go up on a high school game. I'm telling you what I know. And depending on how the season turns out next year, I absolutely see somebody picking up Ed Reed. And I won't even be mad at it. But I thought just the way everything went down, I didn't think it was necessarily something where he just jumps right into an HBCU. All right, y'all. And our last main topic, we got derailed by that. So we actually had fun. This is what I mean by breaking news and stuff like that. All right. Let's come to us from our good folks over at HBCU Game Day. Michael Vick announces his HBCU football coaching staff. Norfolk State head football coach Michael Vick announced 8 additions to his HBCU football coaching staff on Saturday morning, January 11, 2025. I hired guys with experience and mental toughness who understand the game of football, Vick said. The one thing I know is that they're going to put these guys in position to win. We all have the same mindset, and I felt it was only right to hire guys who thought like me and want to lead like me. I'm extremely proud of these guys, and I'm excited for them. The prestigious group of individuals includes 4 former NFL players and several award-winning leaders. Terrence Garvin, defensive coordinator; Elton Brown, defensive line coach; Dabo Smith, defensive back coach; Ezan Cross, defensive line coach; and Roy Reynolds. Go and read the whole article. I'm not familiar. There's a whole bunch of Negroes out here. But, Mike Vick had a lot of content going out this weekend. And one of them was a video where he was at the school and he was talking about, just kind of some of the stuff that they had going on, the renovations they got going on. So let's just take a look.
Yeah, we just taking it from the top. You know what I mean? We are excited to be here first and foremost. It's a beautiful campus, a beautiful situation going on around. Got my beautiful brothers here, coaches, and we gonna hold it down one day at a time. We taking it one day at a time, but it's our time. It's our time to shine right now. We got a lot of renovations going on in here. Everything's being done first class, setting it up for the coaches so everybody be comfortable. That's really important. Coach Will right there, linebackers coach. You know what I mean? Energy. We bring the energy, so this is our domain. We like to just hang out and just let it be organic and natural. So 2025 Liddy. I'm excited. Taking over. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, man. Shout out to Coach Vick. Shout out to his whole staff. I think Norfolk, if done right, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem in the fall. And MEAC, Stephen Gaither pointed this out the other day. It's like, man, what a weird world we're living in right now where the SWAC is bringing in all of these experienced coaches and, playoff contingent coaches. And the MEAC is doing celebrity hires. So it's gonna be an interesting fall. Y'all, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll be back with my favorite part of the show, which is our fam topics. It's in the Quad with Nick Eden.
Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday.
I got you something.
We said no gift.
We had to get you something.
Thank you, honey.
I got you this.
Did you do this yourself?
Man, I had a great teacher.
Happy birthday.
I love you.
I love you too.
Love you. Thank you.
This is from me to you.
I am genius.
No charger?
It's a Mac. The battery lasts all day. See you next week.
Wow. Hey, Jay, this project might need a bit of zhuzhing. Hollaback. Warren.
Please let me know your thoughts. Best regards, Warren.
I am genius.
It is time. It is time. It is time for my favorite part of the show. And I screwed it up. I didn't load the right graphics, but it is time for my favorite part of the show, which is our fam topics. Our fam topics, which are always amazing. Always amazing. And unfortunately, I screwed it up. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm wondering. Let's see if I can do it like this. Oh yeah, no, I screwed that up. All right. Hold on. Let me do this much. Because of course I put the wrong ones in there. So we'll make do what we got right now. Updated as an inconsistent layout. That's crazy. All right, you cut the beard, Ninja. Did you cross it? No, I did not cross. No, I did not cross. Yes, I cut the beard. It is what it is. It is what it is, y'all. Get over it. Get over it. Let's see. These folks. Let's see. These folks been wilding since you stopped doing the calendar. Yeah, y'all have been on it. I will say HBCU Twitter in particular, Facebook, the real HBCU Band Uncut. Y'all all been on it, man. It's a few folks that in any other circumstance, I'd be like, hey, man, you are definitely going on the calendar. It is what it is. It is what it is. Let's see. I seen old young in the face looking at him, boy. I promise y'all, I'm gonna drop the rest of this stuff today on Twitter because y'all have been wilding out, messing with me about this beard. It is what it is, man. It's gone. Let's see. Can y'all finally admit after this weekend that it's too early to make SWAC basketball prediction? Hey man, let me say this. I don't know what everybody's issue. Oh God. Oh man. Oh my God. Yo, I wasn't ready. Hey, I wasn't ready for that one, man. Yo, but y'all are killing me, man. Y'all are killing me. Hey, look, get it out. Get it out as long as y'all can. I got you. Like I said, it's gonna grow back. I'm gonna grow it back, man. I'm gonna document it. Slowly, but I'm gonna grow it back. Look, so here's the deal. With the SWAC and MEAC basketball predictions, y'all, this is no different than what goes on in football season. This is no different. And it's not just, again, I feel like y'all, some of y'all, not I say y'all, I don't want to be a grand sweeping statement, but the popular thing is to say all these HBCU podcasters, and their podcast mic. Look, week to week commentary is what we do. It's the basis of sports. It's the reason something like First Take. It's the reason something like it's College Game Day. Predictions are a part of sports. Whether it's HBCUs, PWIs, NFL, NHL, NBA, it's a part of it. I don't understand why people get so tight in the ass when we make content on HBCUs and we make predictions based on what we've seen. It's literally the nature of sports commentary. But for whatever reason, when it comes to the HBCU space, everybody is just like, so what do y'all want? For the detractors, not the supporters. Well, I want to know what the supporters want. But for the detractors, what do y'all want? Do you want there to not be any HBCU content? I honestly think, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know who did it. One of these days, I may pay $7 just to see, because it doesn't fully tell you who sends these messages, but it does tell you like the area or whatever the case may be. I'm going to assume that whoever wrote that is probably somebody who is recent to the HBCU space. And when I say recent, I mean pretty much anybody who graduated after like 2012. And the reason I say that is because prior to that, you weren't seeing no coverage on us at all. You weren't. Unless BET decided, hey, we're going to throw some stuff up then. I mean, you will see a game. You can see the Bayou Classic. And I say that because I grew up on the Bayou Classic. So for me, I could always watch Bayou Classic. But unless BET did something, or TV One did a little something, or somebody did a documentary, you got no coverage on HBCUs. And so now you got this point where you have people who are so spoiled that they want to pick apart everything. I tell you what, let these HBCU podcasters go away, or stop doing predictions, or stop doing game coverage. I don't even say go away because that's not what they said. But stop doing predictions. See how much Steven and Skip. See how many predictions they do. See how many predictions come up on College Game Day. See how many predictions the Pat McAfee show does. See any coverage on HBCU sports except for the people in the space that do it every day. So no, it's not too early to do predictions. You do this week by week. As I stand right now, I said it's, when it comes to women's basketball, Norfolk, and then it's everybody else. That's my prediction. Week by week, they prove me right. I said on the SWAC side, I said it's Alabama A&M's conference to take. That could be wrong after this weekend. I hope so. But what's crazy is all this is going to be a moot point, because then you got the tournament coming up. And the tournament can make everything turn on its head. That's the beauty about all this. So, yeah, you're going to get the predictions every week. I don't give a damn if you like it or not. If you don't like it, tune away. But then don't complain, oh, there's nobody giving us, because it seems like for some of these folks, y'all really just want white folks to cover us, and that be it. That's what it seems like. You only feel comfortable with the story if a white outlet puts it out. You only feel comfortable with a preseason prediction or predictions if ESPN or FS1 or TNT, if they do it. Out of here. Out of here. Anyway, y'all, I appreciate everybody who took an hour out of their day. And for everybody who participated in the survey, I put out a survey asking what exactly exposure. You know, some exposure coins. Listen, Yard Talk has been talking about this for years. Them exposure coins, they feel comfortable with them exposure coins. Don't let nobody that look like you actually have success in this. Oh, that boy getting a check for this. We can't have that. Hell no, we can't have that. Anyway, I appreciate everybody who took an hour out of their day to take a look in the quad with Nick Eden. I'll be honest with y'all. Depending on how the next 3 weeks goes, the time spot may actually change in the quad. It may actually change. I may do a live replay of the show, the previous day's show during the same time spot, but this may be inching into more of a prime time or drive time show. We're just looking at the numbers right now to see what makes sense, right? So that being said, I appreciate everybody who participated in the survey. Y'all, please don't forget, follow me at Nick Eden on Twitter, at Nick Eden on Fanbase, at Nick Eden on IG. Subscribe, subscribe, and share. Hey, if you know somebody who has not seen this show, share it with them. Click a like, subscribe to the HBCU Plus. I ain't gonna go into the rant. I'm finna get out of here. I'm finna get out of here. See, this is the problem. I get so wrapped up in the chat here. You can tell, this is what I tell y'all before. Fam Topics is my favorite part because I like hearing from y'all on this. But anyway, subscribe, share, click the bell for notifications. The HBCU Plus YouTube channel. Download the UEN app for free. Let's not forget, y'all, you can absolutely watch. Shout out to everybody who's watching on the UEN app right now. And I will see you all same time tomorrow. Take care.